Make it make sense to me. That's what they always said. Because if it doesn't make sense, it's never going to work. The only people you're going to fool are those who rely on just blind faith. But successful businesses, successful relationships, they're not built on blind faith. And people who expect you to make decisions purely on blind faith, they're not helping you at all. You can't rely on blind faith to solve your problems. So whatever you're thinking about doing, whether it's starting a business you've never done before, hiring some designer to build your website, or even getting a haircut from someone who doesn't know how to cut hair properly, it needs to make sense. Look at my hair. I'm so glad I didn't pay for this disaster. I'm literally just waiting for it to grow out so I can get the haircut that I want. And yeah, there's a story behind this. My friend's wife cut it. I really hope she's not watching this video because she's gonna kill me. But this haircut sucks. Point is, no matter what you do in this life, you need an action plan. Every step of the plan, it needs to make sense. Let's talk about your credit for a second, because chances are your credit doesn't make sense. Not even to you. Maybe it doesn't make sense why these credit card companies gave you all of this free money you can't even pay back, and that's why your score is wrecked. Maybe it doesn't make sense why banks profit off of you, and that's fine. Everyone loves to criticize banks and the financial industry, right? But step back for a second. Banks are not scams. They're legitimate businesses. They provide real value, yet people, consumers, love to complain, to cry victim. But here's the kicker. In your eyes, you're the victim. In the bank's eyes, they're the victim. So who's the real victim here? You are. And guess what? You're also the villain. Until you wake up and get out of your own way, you're always going to shoot yourself in the foot, trying to walk the extra mile for yourself, but sabotaging your own progress. It doesn't make sense, does it? Well, let me help it make sense. Your credit. It can all make sense if you decide to change. If you change your habits, change your perspective on credit. Because here's the truth. There are people out there who have access to credit, just like you. In fact, we all start the same way. Once you get your social security number, you get a blank slate. Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, better circumstances, better environment, but you can't let that seal your future. You can't let your own negative mindset keep sabotaging you. If you really want to change real financial success, whatever that means to you, you need to understand there's no such thing as financial freedom. Even the richest people struggle every single day. But it's about finding purpose in that struggle that lets you wake up every morning and push forward. Because life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. Everyone wants the good life, right? Everyone wants the benefits of credit, but they don't want to do the work to earn it. Look around YouTube. Everywhere, people are selling hacks, burn fat without working out, get rich without lifting a finger. Fix your credit for free using some AI tool or a $47 DIY kit. It's all horseshit. Here's the reality. You probably don't have the skill set to fix your own credit because you're the same person who got yourself in this mess in the first place. And unless you actually learn, change, and execute, you're going to keep falling for the same traps. That's why I recommend working with me. At Pinnacle Credit Repair, we're not some cookie cutter company. We're a boutique credit management agency. And yes, credit management means exactly that. We manage your credit for you. What we do, we assess your situation for one. We help you build a real budget and debt reduction plan. We can settle your debts using our lawyers that we work with. And if you're past that point, you just want your credit cleaned, we'll do that too. But here's the difference. We don't just repair your credit. We advise you. We hold you accountable. We give you actionable steps and real tools to build your credit back faster. Because life is short, time is finite, and the sooner you get this handled, the sooner you can move on with your life. But here's the real truth. Even if I waved a magic wand right now and erased all of your credit mistakes, you most likely screw it all up again because you haven't changed your behaviors that got you here in the first place. That's why education matters. If you're serious about fixing your credit, work with us. Visit pinnaclecreditrepair.com or book a consultation using the link below. And no, that wasn't a sales pitch. That was a solution for you. Now let me ask you this. Does your credit report make sense to a lender? If I were a bank, would it make sense for me to invest in you? Would I see you as someone I could profit from? Which, by the way, is exactly why banks lend money in the first place. Wondering why your credit score hasn't gone up? Wondering why you're not getting credit limit increases? Banks know your real income. Most banks, through your credit card products and their partnerships, can see your data, even data from third parties. They're not stupid, and that's why you should lock down your credit data. Do security freezes on Innovis, CoreLogic, SageStream, LexisNexis, ARS, and plenty other more, which I can leave in the description below. Stop letting your personal data get sold to everyone who wants to profile you. And while we're on it, most of you are stuck because you're applying for personal credit with incomes that don't justify higher limits. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year. 40% of that has already gone to taxes. You're left with $60,000. $4,000 a month rent in the Bay Area? There goes most of it. After bills and food, you just got scraps. Banks know this. They know you're not scaling your income anytime soon if you're a W-2 employee. Now, contrast that with business owners. If you don't have an LLC, you're leaving money on the table. Why? Because business credit is where the real leverage is. With business credit, you can get 4 times higher credit limits than personal credit. Why? Because businesses buy products to resell, to make profit. Businesses make money. When you borrow on a business credit card and pay it back quickly, the bank sees it as profit potential. You buy more stock, you resell, you borrow again. It's a cycle banks love. On personal credit, you're just taking vacations and buying dumb shit to impress people you don't even like. That's why banks choke your limits. You're not a business. You're a liability. And here's another fact. Using your business credit card doesn't affect your personal credit score. It builds a separate business credit profile which grows faster and unlocks higher limits, better rates, and more trust with vendors. Learn how both systems work. Personal credit cards, your individual life. Business credit builds your company. Paydex score tells other businesses whether they should trust you or not. You're no longer just a borrower. You're a financial weapon. Let that sink in for a little bit.